Feels so 80s.
I like this one the best.
It feels so 80s. Oh, you gotta have fun with it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I like that. That one's probably my favorite one of all the ones we've had. Well, I guess welcome to, well, it's not, it's two gray nerds right now because number 3 is on the beach getting harpooned. We're going to pay for that later because he can't defend himself, but...
No, not right now. Not right now. He's all, yeah. He's doing the beach thing. But, like I said, yeah, welcome to Three Gray Nerds. As we always say, like, subscribe, join in. Let's have a little bit of fun. We got a couple of good topics to talk about today. And I was kind of waiting for this one. I really was. I was kind of waiting for this. 2 weeks. And I was...
You've been chomping at the bit to talk about this. I'm kind of... I really don't want to talk about it, but let's rip off the Band-Aid. Let the wound... I don't know.
Just let it breathe.
Let the blood flow, and I guess we can get going on the spoiler review of Doctor Strange 2. I will say that.
Well, we can't go to that yet. We can't go there.
We want to go to She-Hulk. I don't want to talk about
Yes, the She-Hulk trailer. I mean, She-Hulk. I said She-Hulk. Good Lord. Maybe I'm thinking football. I'm ready for football season to start. Anyway, the She-Hulk trailer just dropped a few days ago. Not too long ago. So,
I'll be positive. I am kind of hoping it'll be like the first legal adventure show. I think what we're gonna get is a legal dumpster fire show. The CGI was awful. You see people like laughing at a table, like talking. I don't even know. We have no idea we have an idea who the villain is, but they look like they're. I can't say it because we'll probably get blocked if I say it.
Well, dude, I've already been blocked twice, so let's keep it up. I don't know.
The trailer was, and the sad thing about it is, I like the girl. I forget what her name is right now. She was in Orphan Black, and I really like that show, and she's very talented. I just think they went with She-Hulk. The CGI just looks awful. It's written by another Rick and Morty person, so I don't think Rick and Morty people they need to stay together in order for it to be good, because they can get rid of all the bad ideas when they write with 20 other people. I mean, I have hopes for it. Like, it would be like a combination like Ally McBeal, like Suits. Suits is one of my favorite shows. I started rewatching it after I saw the She-Hulk trailer, and it was just like, yeah, it doesn't look like it's anything close to it. Well, because one of the things with She-Hulk is she's a pretty decent lawyer. Like, she's in New York, and I thought it'd be kind of cool, seeing her defend, like Absorbing Man or someone like that. And I don't think they're going to do that. I don't know what they're going to do based on the trailers. It does not look very good. And I've been told I need to be more positive, so I'm trying to be more positive.
Woosah, breathe. Woosah,
But I mean, I think Disney hates the fans, but we can get into that a little bit later. But everything about that trailer just was atrocious, and it's just sort of like, I can't believe you're wasting. Marvel's bringing in talented people. Like, everyone we've seen in these TV shows, they're talented. Well, the actors are very talented. We'll just stop there. The actors are very talented. The writing and the directing, I don't think it's as talented, and I think that's I if if I was in Marvel, I would probably for this one I would probably try to bring in like Ally McBeal, the Ally McBeal people, the league or the suits people, and just gone with that. But they brought in a writer from and I don't think she can write, which might sound sexist, but I'm not trying to be sexist. It's just if you look at her writing credits, she has Rick and Morty, and I'll say I love Rick and Morty, but I also know Rick and Morty have like 40 writers that write it, which means you're getting like the best part of the writing and not bad writing. And I think that's sort of the problem. Marvel is trying to they're trying to recapture the lightning in the bottle what they got with the Russos. And the Russos, I think, did a good job with Captain America movies, the the later Avenger movies, like Infinity War and Endgame. I think they did a good job with that. They understood the characters pretty well. I think when you have one writer, which Marvel has been doing with Moon Knight, with WandaVision, I think there's like two or three writers. But
yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 on that one.
And we'll be getting into that. It's so those are all sort of the things I was thinking about the She-Hulk trailer. The CGI looked awful. I was sort of I don't know about. I like the Hulk. I like She-Hulk, and I was thinking that they wouldn't use CGI. They would use something similar to like what they did with the '70s show kind of thing. I forget what the music was. The creepy like John Carpenter like music. I can't do the song. For the TV show for the Incredible Hulk. But they had Lou Ferrigno playing the Hulk, and Bill Bixby played like. And the thing with She-Hulk is she can transform between the two because but she keeps her intelligence. So they could have done something similar to that, but I think they wanted to keep one actor and not pay 2 actors. But I mean, and I've seen on like the internet they called She-Hulk like Shrek Hulk, which is sort of funny. Because in a way, like the CGI looks like the CGI from Shrek looks actually better than the CGI from She-Hulk, which is sort of scary because doesn't Marvel have a ton of money right now? Like I don't know what they're paying for because they definitely didn't pay for CGI. But I mean, I was thinking they could get like someone who is slightly bigger because it's not like She-Hulk is like 7'10", like she's like 6'5" or something like that. Like I mean, it's on like normal height, but you could get like a WNBA player to play her or something like that, and it would be kind of cool to see that and just, I guess, superimpose the head. I don't really know. I know that Marvel has said, let's take out the muscles, let's make her less muscular. But the thing with She-Hulk is like part of her personality is, I mean, she's kind of promiscuous. And that's sort of like Ally McBeal type of thing. Like I mean, I don't want to say fine, I'll say it. Like she's a whore, but I mean, we all probably were whores at one point. So it's not like I'm being sexist about that, but it's kind of funny, like who, like that was, they made it part of the humor. And like She-Hulk was actually the first character that broke, well, not the first character. She was one of the first to break the fourth wall.
Yeah,
like everyone's like Deadpool broke it, and like no, She-Hulk did. John Bryan, and that's what I would say. Like read John Bryan's run on She-Hulk because it was hilarious because he didn't take her too seriously. Like she was sort of, but it was sort of like an Ally McBeal type of feel for the character. So that was my impression. What was your impression of it?
All right, first I'm gonna say I think my camera is delayed on the actual feed. But hopefully we can work this out. Anyway, the main thing is when I look at She-Hulk, I mean, like you said, I mean, she's promiscuous, and Marvel always had a funny thing of the way that they showed the women because they had the skimpiest outfits on, they showed cleavage, stuff like that. But She-Hulk, she addressed that, and she would do things and talk about her body and stuff like that, and she was, she was voluptuous. She's what, like 7 feet tall. something like that. 7 feet, like 600 pounds or something. So she was, she's a big person. So she is muscular, and she, even in the comics, she addressed the fact that, I look good. I know I look good. Nobody looks as good as me. That's the thing I like. Because she was kind of quirky in a way. And that's why, it's funny you say Ally McBeal, because that's exactly what I was thinking of. If they do that, if they do the show, it should have that Ally McBeal kind of feel. I love the dialogue in Suits. The writers for Suits were awesome. The dialogue that they had back and forth between Harvey and see, now we're talking Suits, but between between Harvey and, oh man, I can't think of his name
Mike.
now.
So Harvey and Mike
Ross. Yeah, they had great dialogue. They had great dialogue. They got to the point they were calling each other Butch and Sundance. Because they worked perfectly together. So if they have something like that, it'd be perfect. It'd be great to have that type of that type of character. I want her to be larger than life. I have no problem with her being a woman character, because she is a woman character. But in this, the thing is, in that she accepts or addresses the fact that she's a woman. She really pushes it. So that's the thing about her. If they do that show like that and make her a little quirky at times, it'll be awesome.
But I would say we could see, like, when she's, like, at dinner with her, I don't know who that person was, like her friend, law partner.
She was she was
I think that the swiping thing was sort of funny, but even the CGI of that seemed weird.
Well, I think they're still working on that. I don't think that's the last product. I'm holding tight to it, but I don't think that's it.
So I have a response to that, because I figured you would say that. Morbius, they were working on the CGI on that up until the movie came out, and as I forget what his name was, David Alan Grier and Damon Wayans said hated it
because it wasn't a good movie, but overall the story wasn't even good. So that movie, don't even go to Morbius.
I'm just saying, their CGI, they had 2 years to perfect it, and the fact that this show has had however many months to work on the CGI, or like try to do practical effects or something like that, I don't know what you can say. It just seems like that's like incompetence or something else. I would say something else, but we can get to that.
But yeah, like I said, I really do think that they're going to fix. They have some additional things they need to do with the CGI. I hope they do, because I watched one thing, and they even had a person where they showed her eye looking like they were going the opposite direction on the thing. So I'm like, no, they need to fix some stuff. But like I said, overall, that story, I really hope. It's probably a little late now, because now they're probably in editing and getting ready to release.
their writer is from Rick and Morty, and Rick and Morty is like, it's a smart show, and maybe she's the good writer.
She's a good writer in Rick and Morty. Yeah.
But I would say, based on what I saw, nothing really made me laugh. The swiping of the screen was sort of funny, because it was sort of like she's going and dating things, but the CGI just looked off. Like, even the final scene where she's carrying the guy, it just didn't look right, and it just seems like they should have done like practical effects and just said, okay. And I think the actress who plays Jennifer Walters, she's like 5 foot. So
yeah, she's small.
They're all pretty small. Like, all actors are pretty small, regardless. But yeah. So I think we beat this one up. Unless you have more on She-Hulk. She-Hulk could be good. I'll be the first to say I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong based on what we've seen in the last couple, but maybe the 20th one is the charm.
Yeah, we're long past the third. We're long past the third one.
Um,
Yeah. So we got a couple of things coming out with the Disney universe coming out soon. So yeah, no. We'll see. We'll see.
I'll probably say I'm probably going to pass on She-Hulk though, from what I've seen, unless the trailers get better. But
No, I mean, gotta watch it so we can talk about it. But
yeah, we'll talk about that later too. All right,
we'll see.
so let's go to Doctor Strange.
Okay.
My partner in crime has been itching at this, so I'm just let it flow, man. Let it flow.
Well, that's because y'all hushed me on the one we talked about this. Y'all kind of gave me the be quiet. You're starting to spoil things. So I had to distinctly wait the 2 weeks so I can start talking about it. And honestly, I went to see this movie, and I went with my sister, and I came out shaking my head. I was disappointed. Would I call it an F? No, because it's at least watchable. It was some nice things in it, but the story and what they came up with, as far as the overall story for this, is just not consistent, and it doesn't make sense. That's the thing with me. I mean, granted, it is fantasy, but it should make sense. It should make some type of sense.
So what didn't make sense to you? Let's be specific. What didn't make sense to you?
Well, let's be Pacific, as they say. My first thing is Wanda was the villain. And I'm like, okay, technically, they should have made this movie. This was not Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness. One, they didn't go to a lot of a lot of universes, and then two, it should have been just Doctor Strange versus Wanda or something. I mean, it was all Wanda all day, all the time. That was the whole story.
Well, it's more like Wanda and American Chavez or whatever the hell the Portal girl.
And that girl didn't even need to be in the movie. You could have had an artifact that did the exact same thing, and you would have got the same result in the movie. Seriously.
So, to address, I didn't have the same problem. Like, Wanda actually she can be a villain because in the comics, she's been kind of fragile. And after WandaVision, which wasn't good, you could tell like something's going to happen, like something's going to break soon. Yeah. Now I've heard like dumb things like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man can take her. No, he would die.
No,
he would die. And I think I have heard people complain about how like she went easy, like it took her longer to kill Peggy Carter and the other person. I would say the reason she took longer to kill Peggy Carter is because she likes Captain America. Remember, Captain America, she was on his team. Like Captain America's, like he protected her. He protected her. He was on her side. So she's going to pretty much tend to go to their side. But Wanda's like probably power wise, she's up there. Like she wiped out all the mutants. Well, most of them. She has reality based power, so she can snap like. And I would point to Endgame when she's beating the crap out of Thanos, and Thanos, the only way he can beat her is fire on the planet right now. But sir, like our troops are here. Just fire on the planet because this lady's going to crush me. Mm-hmm. This is Thanos, who without the stones was beating the crap out of Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. So the fact is, Wanda's pretty powerful.
She was always powerful. I had no problem with that.
Like her power. Well, I'm just saying, like for our viewers, like her power set, like she's the only people that can stop her are people who are either she loves, which in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's no one now because Captain America's gone. Falcon and like Winter Soldier, or we don't know where they are. They're obviously not going to be involved with Doctor Strange because they're more like reality based and not like going to be traveling to like different worlds. Um, so like anyone who she knows and that she actually trusts wasn't like around. They're not like there for her right now.
Yeah,
Her brother's been dead for well like 3 movies now.
I hate that. I hate the fact they killed him off. But let's
Yeah,
move on.
it was a stupid move, but
It was a very stupid move.
so those factors are all sort of in it, and like I've seen a lot of things on the internet, like Superman can kill her. No, he
No,
can't.
no, he can't.
But Injustice Superman can kill her. Superman can't kill her because Superman has a code.
He has a conscience.
So he wouldn't kill her. But Injustice Superman, like that.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like you have to have someone who's willing, who is like a killer, and who's on a powerful enough. Because you guys are like, because she's definitely top 10. I know like we can debate like the power sets in the Marvel universe, and that's sort of based on
But I thought she was right at Omega level.
She is
Omega. I thought she was right there.
Well, I mean, the reason I chose this name today, Owen Reese is Molecule Man, who's viewed as probably one of the most powerful people in the because he controls molecules, which in turn is reality. And that's Wanda's power set. But Wanda's power set is to a lesser degree, but I mean, it's still she's top 10. I would say she's definitely top 10. And with mutants, she's top 5. Or I mean, I would say Wanda, and this would don't Thor and Hulk fans won't like this. Like she is the strongest Avenger. There's no doubt. Like
I can see that
because she can take out Thor, she can take out Hulk. Because all she has to do is just and I mean, I was talking to other people. Her changes normally stay there unless she wants to undo it. It's not like I don't know if people remember, the Justice League in the future where Batman is fighting with Ace of Spades and all of them, and Ace is dying. But when Ace's powers were like that type of power too, but once she died, everything like reverted. But in that program's defense, Ace, it probably would have stayed it that way if Ace had died, but because Batman convinced her to, change everything back before she died, it changed back. I mean, I don't remember. That show was like 10 years ago. No attacking me right now. I have a dog to my left or right for our viewers. We could call him the absentee third grade nerd. I mean, I think there's definitely inconsistencies, but like with the multiverse, there's different ways to like transverse between the multiverse. It's just weird that you had the guy who was writing Loki, and he showed Kang, and in this you use Wanda, and like that. So, and I think that's sort of the concern that people have is there's not like a lot of like when we first were doing like all the Marvel movies, there seemed to be more connectivity. I mean, the first couple of movies, like we were going to like the Avengers. Then the next couple of movies was like, okay, we have this threat. Like we got the Avengers together, but it's about the stone and like who wants the stone? Like everyone who was watching was like, well, that's Thanos. And so you keep going in and in and in. Wanda is a pretty good villain. She's a sympathetic villain, and I would like to say, like, since this is spoiler free or not spoiler free, she's not dead.
No,
she's technically not dead because we don't. It's implied she's dead, but
she's dead.
With her power set, are you telling me a mountain that falls on her is really going to kill her? No. And since you see I think you see like a red glow. See, I was awake for that part. And the thing is, I do like Sam Raimi. I like Bruce Campbell. Unlike you, I think I originally gave it a C minus, and I have since changed the grade to an F because it's not. And I give it an F because it wasn't a Doctor Strange movie.
Exactly.
It didn't make a lot of sense. Like to me, it's sort of like it's like the traditional horror movies. Like, hey, it's like the Geico commercial which we've seen. Hey, we have the running car. Let's get in the running car and like, no, let's hide behind the chainsaws. And they go to the chainsaws, and that's what that whole movie felt like. It was just like it was one dumb decision after another. And it's just like Doctor Strange is pretty smart. Like, what the is he doing right now? Like he tech all he had to do was just shut one door, and Wanda couldn't follow. Like, and Wanda was like, it was so. Once the movie started, it was sort of like, and I think the first scene with Defender, I don't even remember Defender Strange, like when it was sort of like, I think this is Wanda. Like, Wanda's the bad guy. Like, and to me, that was anticlimactic. I think it would have been better, like, if Wanda was revealed like later on to be the villain, but it felt like it was so fat. Like, it was like in the first like 20 minutes of the movie, you knew Wanda was the bad guy. It was just sort of like, it's really hard to think of her as the bad guy because we're sympathetic to her because she's lost Vision, she's lost her kids, she's lost her.
But her kids didn't exist.
Well, I mean, they exist in like another reality.
She created those kids. But see, that's my point. But she created those kids.
That's her power base, though.
But she created that in her mind. Those kids didn't exist
in the comic.
If that's the case, why don't just create another Vision?
But in the
comic, I mean, if that's
okay, so
it's just not consistent. If you wanted, there's a multiverse of badness, right? Why can't she go find a universe with another Vision? and kids with a mom doesn't exist.
So there is still
and come in and be that mom.
So I'm going to disagree with you here.
We have a multi.
No. Hold on. So in the comic books, she and Vision are married, and they do have kids. Vision is not a human being.
Exactly. That's my other thing.
But I will say, this also ties into her powers. Like, her powers she can create like alternate. Well, look at WandaVision. She created like an entirely different world. Like, it wasn't really good because she imprisoned people in it, but she created an entirely different world based on like what she wanted it to go through. And so
exactly.
And so based on that power set, she can create anything. And in the comic books, she did create, I forget what the storyline, something.
House of M.
House of M.
House of M. She creates a whole reality.
She created House of M, which had, the royal family, like their kids, like everything. And some of the kids, like, they weren't real. She created like this entire universe. And the only reason it went back was because like 3 characters knew it wasn't real.
I thought it was Magneto is the one that kind of talked her down and talked her out of it.
But again, the only person who can stop Wanda is Wanda. Because so I would say like the kids, yes, they were her creations, but they were tangible people. Like, if Wanda dies, they would still like exist. And in the comic books, I think they've grown up now and I don't know what the hell they are now. Wiccan and something else.
Yeah, I forget that. Why did I always forget? I always remember Wiccan. Wiccan and Speed.
Something like that. But I mean, the kids do exist, but technically they don't exist because Wanda created like a spell to allow them to whatever. It's sort of like the story with Superman and Lois Lane. Like, technically, Superman and Lois Lane can't reproduce because Superman would kill her. There's like a funny story, like this is X-rated now. Well, I mean, everything he does is like super speed, and when you reproduce like birds and bees now, like it comes out kind of quickly, so it would be like machine gun fire going through her, neither region. So yeah, she's dead. So the only reason she can have kids is if they're like somewhere where he's actually mortal or magic or something else. So Wanda's situation is sort of the same thing. So like, that's not like a thing I have a problem with. It's just like the movie, I mean, I don't. I mean, I was sort of disappointed in Sam Raimi. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think Marvel is so afraid to try something new that they're sticking to the same formula with all these movies right now. Like, Eternals was the same movie. I mean, Shang-Chi was sort of the same movie. This is the same movie. I mean, I don't think Thor's going to be the same because that director sort of has freedom to do what he wants because he's successful. Guardians of the Galaxy, I think he sort of has leeway. I do not think Black Panther has the same leeway because I don't think otherwise. I think he would have recast T'Challa, but
he's a young director too.
But I would say I think in the next 2 or 3 movies we're going to see like who the big bad for Phase 5 or 6 or whatever is going to be. It has to it'll have to be. I don't know if it'll be in Thor. I don't know if it'll be in Black Panther, but it'll be in like these next 3 movies. And I kind of want to see it'll be Thor just because, I mean, the villain on that is pretty powerful. I mean, he can kill gods.
He kills gods.
I know I rained on your parade for Doctor Strange, so
you didn't, and I feel you. But like I said, I just think the entire movie was inconsistent. And like I said, the thing is, in most movies, when you have a villain, you kind of, even with Thanos or any movie with a villain, the best villains are the ones that you kind of connect with a little bit. But so you had no connect. I mean, again, she can create reality. If that's the case,
she should have been able to bring her kids back.
Bring the kids back, or go find a universe where there's a mom that's gone. But she wants to go and take over the place of a mom that has her kids.
But I think
it's her.
But she's also broken at this point. So I think that's she's not thinking. Well, I mean, she's lost vision.
She's not thinking clearly, and she's grieving. I understand that.
But she's lost. But the thing is, she has now lost vision twice, not once, but twice, because she lost them when Thanos ripped it out of his head.
Yeah.
And now she's lost them again, and now we have that other vision running around with
that white vision.
Excuse me. But that's sort of the thing. Like you have her. Like, I think that's why I think they approached this movie in the wrong way. And I would say Thanos. They even did Thanos wrong because Thanos was sympathetic. Thanos is not a sympathetic villain. Thanos is like pure evil. Like,
well, I don't think he's evil. He just does what he does.
No, Thanos is evil.
He does what he does. He has his agenda.
No,
and this happened.
So, all right. So in the comic books, Thanos is like he worships death. He worships death. He wants to make death fall in love with him. You want to know how you make death fall in love with you? You kill half of the universe. Yeah. Death will kind of like you. That's not like his motivations in the movie is a little bit, well, I'm trying to like save resources and things like that. So you sort of feel, okay, that sort of makes sense in a kind of messed up way.
Well, it's like I always said, it's a thing where I understand where you're coming from, but that's wrong. That's the angle you take with Thanos. You know, I understand exactly what you're trying to do.
But Thanos,
Thanos
should not be a sympathetic character. And I think in those movies, that's probably the one thing I do have an issue with is that, and it is weird to bring death in, but well, Deadpool also loves death. So that's sort of, they've had, Deadpool and, Thanos like going off on each other because they're trying to woo the same. Well, because Death is a female, so they're trying to woo her to like them or love them, and I mean that's evil. I mean, and that's the thing with Thanos. Like, he's not doing something to save universes. He doesn't care about the universe. He wants death. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you can't sympathize. Like, when I think the character in the Marvel they made Thanos like sympathetic. It was just like, dude, no, he's not sympathetic. Like, he's killing people because he wants death to like love him, not to. He's not doing something because he wants to save resources or save like the galaxy or anything.
Well,
like
he's
that.
trying to maintain balance. That's the way to make it in
Yeah,
MCU.
he doesn't want to maintain. He doesn't want to maintain that balance. He wants to kill. Like it's like that Joker description. Like he wants to burn things to see it burn. Like he does not. Like he is evil. And I would say that's probably the one thing about Thanos and I know we kind of got off topic, but
we did. But it still kind of connects because, like I said, I just think. I mean, like I said, looking at the movie,
Wanda is always sort of like she's in the gray area, and I think right now she's like a broken person. Like after WandaVision, as bad as that series was, you could see like she's broken. You can see she also doesn't know the difference between good and evil at this point. Well, one, she holds like a lot of people like prisoner to go along with her show. She like mind wipes like the other witch, which they're also making a show about. So
Agatha Heartless. I don't think I really don't think that's going to be good.
And I thought, like, when the kids were introduced, I was like, all right, this could be kind of cool. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but all right, like, let's see how. And it's just like, the show's not getting better. It's not. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I mean, I thought we was going to get an introduction to Mephisto, but we didn't get that either.
But they can't do that. There's no way they're going to do that.
I mean,
and you can look at Spider-Man No Way Home, and we've way gone off topic, but like. So back to the topic. For Doctor Strange, I would have kind of kept the villain reveal like toward the end, so it would be like kind of shocking, like like the Scream movies, which aren't shocking, but they're kind of tongue in the cheek.
Yeah.
But you don't know who like the killer is till the end.
Kind of, sort of, but it's not revealed till. Then you find out it's two.
You suspect. I mean, we know at this point it's going to be two. You don't know who's going to be because you have to kind of go through the cycle of like the movie, and even when you look back at it, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. Like this doesn't make sense, and that's kind of messed up that the boyfriend killed his girlfriend and his sister, and all right, that's awesome. Interesting. But I mean, I think to me, Wanda's a sympathetic villain. Like she's much more sympathetic because we understand like what she's gone through. Like,
she's grieving. Like I keep saying, she's grieving, and I understand that.
She's grieving for her kids. Like Chris, I think if she at least was able to keep the kids, like she would have been whole. Because she has nothing right now. Like, and I know people are like, well, the women were able to stay alive longer for the Illuminati than. The
Illuminati that whole Illuminati was horrible. That was a horrible reveal of the Illuminati, and they all were weak. It was just, and they were dumb. They were dumb.
Well, they tried to reason with her, which mistake one. Well, that's mistake one and done.
And then they did the Bond thing. They told her what they were going to do. Oh, you don't want to fight Black Bolt. Because he can destroy you with just one whisper. And it's like, okay,
the thing is she knows power. Like she can handle. Still, and
stop talking. Stop talking and do it.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Stop talking and do it.
So for the Illuminati, I've always hated the Illuminati. I don't. And normally the Illuminati, who's on the Illuminati, is Black Panther, Black Bolt,
Namor.
Iron Man, Namor, and then Professor X. Those are like the main members. They always make bad decisions. Every single one of their decisions is bad, and every single one of their decisions normally means the rest of the planet suffers. Example one, they banished the Hulk. He was a little bit pissed when they put like a nuclear weapon on it to blow up.
Strap him to a rocket. And just...
So when he came back, he pretty much beat the shit out of every single one of them. Mr. Fantastic is also on the Illuminati.
Yeah, don't forget Reed Richards.
And I know people are excited about the guy who played him. Guess what? He's not the guy who's going to be playing him in the movie. Sorry. if that was true, they would have announced it. They haven't announced it. They're going to announce it, I think, in June at the San Diego Con. He's not going to be Fantastic Four guy. Like, sorry, he's not Mr. Fantastic.
I think he would have made a good one.
I would agree, but he's not going to be him.
She beat him pretty quick too. Let me add.
Well, she beat everyone very quickly,
but she beat him real quick. That was fast.
His powers aren't a threat to it. His powers are not a threat to like the powerful people. Like he uses his mind to beat people.
He's smart. That's what he is. He's really smart.
And the other thing with like some of the other people, like it's just they're not strong enough. Like again, you have to have a killer instinct, and you have to go for like announcing things. Which the Illuminati, they're arrogant because I mean, their entire group is arrogant, and they're I can stop you because I can convince you. She doesn't know who you are. One,
she don't care who you are.
I would say she cared about. Like,
I don't think she cared. I don't think she
Captain
cared.
Carter, I think she knew who Captain Carter, like her, like she could see like she was Captain America. To me, that scene was sort of like a predator playing with a prey. Like she was just like, go away. Okay, you're gonna keep bugging me. All right, well, you're dead now.
Yeah,
I think she was going easy on that character. The other ones, nope. Like she killed them pretty. And I think that was the thing. Doctor Strange to me should always be like kind of like a mix of horror and supernatural, sort of like Moon Knight, which they also completely
they didn't get that though. Let's not digress.
But I mean, I think that's sort of the thing. Like with Doctor Strange, like they had opportunities, but they're like sticking to they're thinking inside the box, and they're not deviating too much. They'll let like James Gunn deviate a little bit. They'll let the Thor guy deviate a little bit because I don't remember his name off the top of my head. And so those are your things. But yeah, so.
But you give it an F. You give it an F now.
Yeah, I give it an F. I got a refund.
You got you got your money back.
Yeah, I wasn't happy. I was just like, this movie was terrible. It wasn't. I like being surprised. So Spider-Man: No Way Home, I didn't expect it to end. I've read like all their comics. I like being surprised. Like, I might say like, hey, I didn't like Thanos' portrayal, but I kind of understand the direction you went with him. I agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you did a good job with it. You made him a sympathetic character, even though he's not a sympathetic character. But I understood why you did that because you wanted to make him seem relatable, and like you kind of have to do that to bring in
people that don't watch or don't know. That's the thing.
So you have to bring people in that will. It's sort of like the Deadpool. Like you bring people in, and that's the way you have to bring in. Like my wife, like bringing her in because comic book fans. They're not enough to make money. Like they're not. Look at like Fantastic Four movies from like 20 years ago. Like they didn't make enough. Look at Punisher movies like 20 years ago.
Oh God, please don't. Let's not talk about those.
I mean, they weren't good movies, which is
good movies.
Part of the problem. But if you have a good movie, you can bring in like more of an audience. It's sort of like Top Gun. Like it's not militarily like accurate. I mean, it has some accuracies, but it's not made for military. It's made for like regular theater goers, and that's what. Because the military, like if you want to like make it just for the military, it's not going to make that much money. But if you make it for the movie going public, it's going to make a lot more money.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's their goal. They want to make a lot of money. The way you make more money is it has to be good. The other thing with Doctor Strange is, I think last week or the last 2 weeks, it's dropped like 80% each week. It's still the number one movie. It's not going to be number one movie next week, but it's still number one movie because there's nothing else out there.
So when Top Gun comes out,
Gun, and apparently Top Gun is like killing it in the reviews. Like everyone likes it. Like I've seen naval pilots say, it has like they said we loved it, it definitely has inaccuracies like military, but we understand why you can't put that in there because the audience would fall asleep and it just wouldn't be that exciting, which is fine. Like I know you
Yeah,
and Bill, you were talking about like Val Kilmer's like picture, like
I,
it wouldn't be like that Facebook picture. Yeah, dude, we know that. Like,
yeah, that's a little far fetched to me. Still, that's that the whole.
but like everyone can
It's just
complain.
like, come on, man. No command photo is going to look like that. That's all I'm saying.
And we all know like Val Kilmer doesn't look like that way anymore. But there's no way they're gonna put like what he looks like now. His character will probably most likely die, probably of natural causes because he's sick, and that's a respectful way to kill off like an iconic character. Because I
Yeah,
mean, Ice is. I mean, everyone knows if you say Ice, they know who the hell you're talking about.
Iceman, Iceman.
Iceman,
Yeah,
and Iceman and Maverick. I mean, you know who those two characters are.
yeah.
Um, so, do you have more to talk about for Doctor Strange?
No, I do not. Even though I still didn't like it, but I don't give it an F. I still give it a D. It was watchable, but
So, all right.
it
So,
wasn't good.
the other reason I'm giving you an F, and what are our next topics right now? I think this is when we're gonna get. Okay, so the reason I'm starting to be I've always been a harsh grader. I think the reason I'm starting to give movies tougher grades is because I feel like Hollywood does not like the fans. I think it's becoming more and more apparent that Hollywood does not like the fans. Now with the Snyder bots, that's sort of hilarious because I got to pull out my notes now because
Yeah, go ahead and give the backstory of this one because this is
so for the Oscars. I think it was fan favorite movie and fan favorite scene. So
yes. Well, it was fan favorite. Let me hit it. Fan favorite and Oscar cheer moment. It was the cheer moment. That's what it was called.
So Army of the Dead won one of those categories,
Uh-huh.
and then the Justice League, the Speed Force. So the clip where what's it? Barry Allen, Ezra Miller is running and Superman is tracking him. It was a cool scene, great scene. The question is, does that scene beat The Matrix when he's dodging bullets?
No, go down first. Go down to fan favorite nominees.
Oh, I'm going movies
Yeah.
so fan favorite movies. I'll just do like the top 10. I would say.
I'm saying that was nominated. Do you have that?
Oh, I have it. I can read it. Okay. So for the fan favorite scene, we have The Matrix dodging bullets. So Neo dodging bullets. So Justice League beat that. Next up, we have Avengers Endgame. When Captain America said, Avengers assemble and grabs the hammer, and everyone from 16 movies suddenly appears in the scene. Yeah, that. So the Justice League Speed Force beat that. Spider-Man No Way Home, 3 Spider-Mans. Yeah, yep. that was pretty cool. And then Dreamgirls FUY, I don't know what the hell that is. Singing,
you know that. And I am telling you, I'm going on. Yeah, that's
so Justice League beat those movies. Now, to me, I would say the 3 I would pick would be either Matrix dodging bullets, Avengers Endgame, or the 3 Spider-Mans. I can't pick Justice League that one scene because it was probably the best scene in the whole movie, and that movie
was.
I hate it. I did not like that movie. I don't like his DC universe or Spider-Verse or Snyderverse or whatever.
Snyderverse or whatever we will call it.
And I've been talking to you about that, but yeah, the Snyderverse people do not. Their Twitter fans do not like me. They've been blocking me pretty much all week, which I think one of my friends in Nebraska knows about that because I've been making fun of them. Now for the fan favorite movies, and these are like Oscar winning. We have Dune, Spider-Man No Way Home, The Suicide Squad, Army of the Dead, which is the Snyder movie, which was on Netflix. Power of the Dog, which I don't know what that is. TikTok, Boom, Malignant, Cinderella, Sing 2, Minamata, Fall Guy, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, No Time to Die, which is the James Bond movie, Eternals, Cruella, Red Notice, Nobody, Godzilla vs. Kong, and then Tomorrow War. So Army of the Dead beat all those movies. Now, I can agree with some of those movies, but I can't agree with Dune or Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Those are the two movies that I would say Spider-Man No Way Home should have definitely won it, because Army of the Dead was not that. I mean, it was good, but
it was okay. I mean, it was a Netflix movie. It was a nice movie to put on, hang out, and just watch.
I like zombie movies.
Yeah, I do too.
Thanks, Jeremy. I don't know if he's watching, but well, he got me into zombie movies. So it's and so what's going on is, like, there's been accusations. There's been really no proof of, like, there being foul play, but there've been, like, accusations that Snyder bots, like, they were voting for the Snyder stuff over all this stuff. Now, is there a ton of proof? No, but let's give some examples. So they redid the Justice League movie because Snyder fans wanted to make, they've heard uncut versions and all that stuff, and, like, they complained a lot, and they're a vocal fan base, and so they did the Snyder cut. Now, I can agree that the Snyder cut was much better than Josh Whedon. Unlike others, I still give it an F because it still was not a good movie. Of the Snyderverse movies, it is probably the worst movie I've seen.
It was okay.
Yeah, I know you're going to say that.
Yes, it was okay.
Yeah, we're going to get to you in a second. And the thing is, and I've been talking to Snyderverse, like, tweeting with them and trying to figure out, like, they like how, Superman is, like, so, like, he's like he has a lot of depth, and it's just like, but
he didn't have a lot of depth.
He's just a dark, brooding character. And guess what? We already have that with Batman. Like, Superman is supposed to be a character of hope, like happiness, like unity, like all that stuff. Like, that's that character. Like, he's like Captain America, but for DC. Well, he's been around a lot longer than Captain America, but he's that character. Like, he's supposed to bring people together. Like, he's the son of the planet. Like, he is, and I know people are like, they're making him more political in comic books and this sort of, I don't think, like, Hollywood does not like, they hate us. They don't care. They really don't care. They don't care. You can see it with, Darth Bill's not on, but you can see it with Tolkien, like, with the Power of the Rings. Like, they don't care about the fans. And I guess what I'm about to say is going to piss people off, but we're the problem. The fans are the problem. We are the problem, because you want to know why? We pay for this product. We go see it. And this is part of the reason I'm giving them Fs, because they're not going to listen if you say it's just okay. But if you give them Fs, stop going to it, stop buying it, stop. And I'm a terrible example, because no one can see in this room, but I see 6 file cabinets with like 7,000 comic books in them. I'm a terrible example of it. I have a ton of, like, paraphernalia from, like, Star Wars and all that, and it's going to kill me to, like, I don't know if I can do it, but I feel like a Detroit Lions fan at this time. It's just like, we're never going to win the Super Bowl with, like, the current way. So we have to do something drastic. What do we do? And maybe I might not be original with this, but the reaction is, like, what do we do? Like, and I guess we can, like, go to Kathleen Kennedy now, because that's sort of the same thing.
That's oh god,
because we have Kathleen Kennedy and Vanity Fair who said there will be no more recasting of, like, original characters. Meanwhile, we have Obi-Wan coming out this week.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, Obi-Wan is Alex Guinness, who was recast as what was his name? Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
So that worked out pretty well for you. Now she's saying this because of Solo. She's thinking, Solo was so bad. I think the reason why she's saying that is she's trying to take some heat off of her because, well, I don't think there's any heat on her from like her, cronies, but the fans hate her. But I think the problem with her is she does not understand anything. Solo to me wasn't the actors. I think the actors were pretty good in that movie. Like I think the guy who played Han Solo was good.
Oh, Danny Glover was awesome as Lando Calrissian. I thought he was good.
Glover was really good.
I
thought like everyone who was in it did a really good job. I thought it was an awful script. I thought it was
a terrible story, man. And he put too much. It basically, remember the Matrix when the guy talked about nostalgia? They basically took everything that was nostalgic and put it all together in one movie, and tried to make it where you liked it.
Well,
and it was too much.
But the other thing is, they're blaming it on like Star Wars fatigue, or like with Marvel. Well, and that's sort of my point. They're saying right now, you have comic book hero fatigue, or you have Star Wars fatigue. Okay, Solo came out like the same week like Infinity War did. So guess who's going to get their ass kicked?
Exactly.
That's like saying, hey, we're like NC like high school and we're going to play Alabama in football. Yeah, you're going to get killed. Like you're not going to win. Like you're looking at 105 to like 0, and this isn't like an EA Sports game. Like you're going to get crushed. So that's sort of it. It's like you can't be serious. Like you can't be this stupid. But yeah, she is. She doesn't know.
She does. Honestly, she don't get it. She doesn't get it. And that Vanity Fair article showed she don't get it. She doesn't get it
because
she's way above her head, and it's not. And I mean, it has nothing to do with her gender or anything. It's just that you're above your head. You don't understand what you're the magnitude of what you're trying to do your stories on. You don't even know the stories.
Well, she also doesn't know anything. Because she said Jon Favreau, like they reached out to him. No, actually, the story is he called you guys, and you guys just grabbed him and brought him in. And the other problem is you're bringing in people who keep recycling the same friggin' ideas, and you put the guy who's in charge of like all the animation in charge of all the live action shows. And that's a mistake. I mean, I know Filoni, like he has a lot of love and appreciation for the shows.
Mm-hmm.
After Boba Fett, yeah, he doesn't need to have another chance. Like he's not good enough. Like you need to do something like Rick and Morty do and just bring in 50 writers and just bang out ideas and say, is this idea good? Is this idea? But they're not doing that. They're doing like the Marvel way, like everything goes through one person and funnels through one person, and they're doing the same thing with Star Wars. So, and I know I've been pretty brutal about it and said, I'm canceling Disney Plus next week because Obi-Wan, I don't have any faith in it. But I know, we're supposed to be positive, but when your producer is saying ignorant things, it makes it hard to say, I don't know how to support this product when you don't know what's wrong. People won't be fatigued of stuff that is badly written. Because if they were fatigued of it, well, why has The Simpsons been on for like 50 years? Why were shows on for like 20 years? Why were shows on for 10 years? It's not because people get fatigued. It's because the writing starts to not be good. The product stops to it starts getting stagnated. You have to have an endpoint for some stuff. I mean, I don't. But for Star Wars, it's a rich environment, but you keep going back to the same 3 friggin' planets every movie, or the same similar planets. Like, you're not exploring the universe, but you're saying, well, I'm going to ignore the Skywalker thing because that's nothing. That's a huge mistake, because the Skywalkers are the heart and soul of the Star Wars thing, and to ignore them,
and they continued. That's the issue.
And the thing is, you completely botched the last trilogy. But you could definitely salvage it by doing like clones or some other thing. That it's not hard to go to a different direction. And yeah, you can say Rey's a Skywalker, blah blah blah. But the thing is, you're trying to expand the universe, but you're going to the same friggin' planet every single time, and it's just sort of like, this isn't like, okay, we're in Star Trek or something. Like, why can't we go to different planets? Like, go to a fire planet, go to a different planet. Like, at least George Lucas, and I would say, I mean, looking back at the prequels, I don't like the prequels, but I mean, they got my nephews into Star Wars. They got like younger generation into Star Wars, and the new Star Wars will probably. But I don't think in 20 years I'm gonna look at the new Star Wars with any sort of anything but hostility. And I mean, they're all Fs to me. But I think that's part of the thing, and I don't think it's possible for us, because I can ask you a question right now and I already know the answer. If the Eagles suck, will you still buy Eagles paraphernalia? The answer is yes, because
that's different, though.
No, it's the same thing.
No, it's not. That's different.
No, it's the same thing. And so he and I have talked about this before. So
yes, we have. And that's not the same thing.
So
I was born and raised in the city.
But here,
that was my team from birth.
No, but let me make the compare. So there are comparisons. So we have a fan base that will buy anything. Like, you'll buy lightsabers, you'll keep buying lightsabers, or you'll keep doing stuff for Star Wars. You'll keep buying stuff. Like, fans will keep buying stuff. Like, go to movies, do this, and it won't send them a message. The message, you want to know how you hurt these people? You don't buy stuff. They don't care. Like, Kathleen Kennedy does not care, because she knows Obi-Wan, those first 2 episodes, it's probably going to drive like membership. Like, Disney doesn't care, because it's going to drive subscribers to it, and people are going to watch it, and people are going to be pissed, but they don't care, because that doesn't mean anything to me, because they just made $30 million because of all the subscriptions. So I think that's the solution. I mean, it's going to be, no one's going to do it. But
let me add this. Don't you think it like a reduction in subscriptions would cause the same type of thing like with Netflix, where they didn't get it? Their numbers went down, and they said, oh, well, and they blamed other things.
No,
and it wasn't because
they're going to blame everything, because Kathleen Kennedy is doing that right now, because she knows. I think the reason the Vanity Fair article came out is because I think she knows that Obi-Wan is not good. And I think that's why she's saying that now.
Damage control.
Because it's damage control. Because I have a feeling that because people are already guessing like what happens in it. They're saying, well, the one of the Inquisitors is going to find Luke, and the other one's going to be like, no, you're stupid. And she's going to become good, and she's going to become a central figure. And people are like, but it's an Obi-Wan show. Like, why are you centering on like different?
You switching it up.
Like, you did the same thing with Moon Knight. You're doing it's an annoying thing, and I'm fine with diversity. Like, but let it come in a natural way. Like, don't force it. Like you can have good writing that leads up to that, but you're not doing that because you're trying to like cram crap at us, and it's not going to be good. It's not a natural progression, and I'm tired. Let me add in. I'm tired of the Wizard of Oz kind of ending, And when I say that, I say, in the Wizard of Oz, how did it end? You always had the power to go home. All you had to do was click your heels together and say there's no place like home. I'm tired of, you went through it, like in the Wizard of Oz, you went through the entire story, and then it comes out in the end where
You could have went home anytime you wanted to. So I'm tired of, you had it in Doctor Strange, going back to that. You know, tell the girl, you've always had that power inside of you.
But
And then all of a sudden she knows how to do it. I'm tired of that. I mean, because to me that's weak writing. Just because somebody told you, come on, man.
And that's the thing with Hollywood. Like, look at all the really great shows that have come out like this year, and look at all the terrible shows. There's more terrible shows than good shows, but the good shows have good writing. Like, we'll use Suits as an example. I've rewatched like 3 seasons. I think, from what I remember, like all 9 seasons are just excellent.
Last one's kind of, but
I mean, it could be kind of, and I don't really remember, but well, that's probably why it doesn't last. But like, you have great writing, and that's the issue. Like, they're bringing people in that don't like the fans, and they're doing stuff, but they're doing this to everything right now. Like, in the comics, they're doing that to the comics. Like, they decide, hey, we have this agenda. We're going to make Superman gay. We're going to make Batman gay. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to call Captain America. He doesn't believe in the United States anymore because he has some guy writing. And I mean, the guy wrote Black Panther too, and Black Panther run was interesting. But all of a sudden, he hates America, and everything America stands for is like just racism and blah, 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 blah. Like, they're bringing politics into like stuff. And I think this is what pisses Bill off, is we go to this stuff to escape like reality, because it gives us like Superman's a sign for hope, like Captain America's a sign for unity, like, or stuff like that. And you're like, well, what the, like, I don't want to watch something that says white people are evil and like, everyone wants to kill each other. Like, why the do I want to see that? Like, I can turn on the news like every single night and I'll see the same thing. Watch any news station, you can see that. And like, that's not what we're supposed to do. Like, it's like, it's maddening. And I mean, my solution is way too drastic, because there's no way anyone would do that, because it would be like asking you to give up watching the Philadelphia Eagles, which you're not going to do. Like, I'm not going to not, like, it's like, it won't happen. Like, but the only way to hurt like Hollywood is to hurt their pocketbook. And I think, and Hollywood doesn't even know. Like, Marvel is still saying Doctor Strange is the #1 movie for the 3rd week in a row. Yeah, because nothing else has come out. Because
actually it is.
Well, I mean, it's the #1 movie, but it's also going like this down. Like, it's sloping down. Like, it's not going up. Like, normally you would see like, Top Gun go against it, but once Top Gun hits, Doctor Strange is gonna like free fall. It ain't gonna be #1, and I guarantee people are going to see Top Gun like the 2nd week. Top Gun is probably going to stay like straight across. Like, it's not going to drop, because I mean, the word of mouth. I don't think the word of mouth for Doctor Strange is very good, because I don't think anyone really liked it. Nothing I've seen like on the internet says it's good. I mean, you have your 15-year-old, you have your fanboys, you have your Marvel fanboys, and that's like the Snyder guys who are like saying, "Hey, all these movies are just fantastic," and you say, "What makes them fantastic?" And then they answer, and you're like, "Yeah, but that's not really the character." Well, what do you know about the character? Okay, you have a dumb Batman, because we'll just talk about Justice League right now, because we're going back to that. And that's the problem. Like, these people are, Hollywood does not understand these characters. They don't care about the characters. They're grabbing money, which, I'm fine. Get money. But like, can't you write some good stuff? Like, we can see you writing, like, I mean, I don't care if you write stuff like, I hate conservatives, I hate liberals, but I mean, if you do it in a good way, like, it can be funny, it can be like dark, it can be whatever. I'm getting really tired of seeing the same comic book movies come out over and over and over again. Like, Marvel movies, we know what to expect. Like, they're gonna have stupid humor, and they're gonna be, oh, that's the other thing I hated about She-Hulk. Hey, let's call Iron Man a narcissistic billionaire. Remind me again what happened in, Endgame. Didn't he like bring everyone back, and he won at the cost of his own life.
He gave his life, to bring everybody back.
But he's a narcissistic billionaire, and you're the cousin of the guy who helped him.
Yeah, and that's the thing; it doesn't connect. That itself, that didn't connect.
So that part of the show, that turned me off because it was just sort of like, what? Like everyone and that's sort of the connection I'm making with Kathleen Kennedy right now is that she does not understand. They're not seeing the reason why these things are failing. They think because it has Star Wars attached, they should automatically get $1 billion. They're not seeing the problems with the writing. Like Solo never should have come out. And I know people are like, we want a Solo too. No.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a Solo movie, but my thing is, again,
it better be well written.
Yeah, the story just can't. Like I said, they put in the Kessel Run. They put in the fact that he met Chewbacca. They put in the whole thing with Lando. They put a whole. I mean, it's too much. It's like you put too much. It's like you put all your eggs in one basket, and when you do that, you can't. It was too much.
They had to have Lando. They had to have Lando. I think Lando, Chewie, and Han. That's the thing I did that I was fine with. Kessel Run did not like that. The whole Chewbacca meeting did not like that.
It was nostalgic. It was just to get you to oh man, look, he met Chewbacca. That's how they met.
And
it was too much.
His name, was awful. That was awful.
It was because it was one of those red cups that was sitting right there. He had a red cup that was right by the check station.
that was so bad.
My name is Solo because I'm alone. No, come on, man. Come on.
But I mean, that was the bad. And the whole thing about that is Kathleen Kennedy did not like the two guys who were attached to it. The two guys who were attached to it, they've done some pretty damn good movies. They've done, the Lego movies, the Into the Spider-Verse movies.
Oh, Into the Spider-Verse is awesome.
So I don't know what that movie was wrong with that movie. What we saw was pretty much, I would say it was a train wreck, and I don't blame the acting. I blame the writing and the direction of it, and I blame the executive producers, one of which was Kennedy. I would say, I would even say the same thing about Rogue One. I thought it was cool that it went to different planets, but oh my gosh, that movie was so long and so boring and so like what.
Well, I was okay with that one. I was okay with that.
No, and just to clarify, I did like that movie. I know people might be shocked. I did like that movie. I do not give it an F, but it was it felt like it was drawn out. Like it was choppy in pieces. Like the final scene to me is what made that whole movie. Like I would give that movie an A based on the final scene.
Oh man, the red lightsaber.
Just like Darth Vader. And the thing with that movie is that it impacts New Hope because at that point now you know why Darth Vader is so pissed off and why he doesn't believe Leia and he's just like torture her. And I think that added like that movie. That's the reason I give it an A is because hey, look at what this prequel movie did. Like it made like the trilogy even better. Like in how many times can you say that? Solo, did that make the trilogy better? No. Did the prequels make it better? I would say yeah. They made it better because it added like depth to the characters, like
and it sparked Clone Wars. It sparked Clone Wars, which Clone Wars, the animated Clone Wars, is phenomenal.
It was a great series, and I know I was picking on Filoni, who's like the creator of the Clone Wars, but he didn't. But I don't think being part of the cartoon universe and then try and translate that to real action, it doesn't seem to work because otherwise, okay, I have a question. Why doesn't DC put Bruce Timm in charge of like the DC like live action? I mean, look at what he did with Justice League, Batman, Superman. Those were incredible cartoons through the 90s. I mean, I would say those are the best animated things. Like, you know, you probably have one of the best fights like between Superman and Darkseid. When Superman's like, we have a rare opportunity where we can truly test, like, I can show you how strong I am, and then he literally punches Darkseid through like 5 buildings, and you're like, oh god, this is awesome. You see Darkseid like shoot the mega beams, and like Batman dodge it. Wow, that's like one episode. Like that show was like infinitely better than anything else. And then people like the Snyder people are like, well, I like the depth that, the DC like Snyderverse has. Like we need, and I think one of the other reasons I was picking on him this week is because like I think on May 18th they thought like they're gonna come out with the Ayer cut and all that. I'm like, no, like HBO is that you don't understand. Like Snyderverse is dead. Like they're not bringing it back. Like it's not coming back. Most people do not like it. Like I know some people, you have said it's okay.
It's okay. Like it. It's not. I mean, it's nothing to write home to, and I keep saying it, it's nothing to write home about. And I've tried to watch it again. It's 4 hours long. That's a long movie.
And it's not true to the characters, and the characters are inconsistent. And I'll say, you're telling me, Batman when they're resurrecting Superman, he doesn't think Superman is going to wake up pissed. He doesn't have a contingency. He doesn't have a contingency plan for that. Like, Lois Lane maybe. Hey, let's have Lois Lane be the first thing he sees.
The first thing he sees.
Wow. Wow. I don't think I'm like the smartest person on the planet, but if I can figure that out. Oh wait, but you want to do like action scenes and things like that, which you can still show like in other things, but no, you want to do like these other things, but you don't understand the characters well enough to do that. And I would say I'm probably the few people of the comic world who actually like Man of Steel. Like I didn't have too many issues with Man of Steel. I mean, I wish it wasn't filmed in like black and white or whatever the hell he did with that. But I mean, I would say the only thing I didn't like was like how they killed off his dad. Well, his Earth dad, Jonathan Kent.
Yeah.
I didn't like how they killed him off because it felt really similar to Uncle Ben Spider-Man. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. Like, ooh, that's not good. I wish you just like made him die of like natural causes, because that feels like we're gonna wait for like, with great power comes great responsibility later, and it's just like so it felt a little bit felt a little bit forced. But I mean that's sort of, back to the Kathleen Kennedy thing, yeah, because we're keep going back to that. But yeah, it just feels like
it's all wrapped up. It's all wrapped up into one.
But it just feels like all these things, like they're all related, and it feels like you're getting. Like, I don't mind if you make adjustments to characters. Like, I don't mind that you change Thanos a little bit. I don't mind that you change, like, Spider-Man a little bit. Like, I don't mind if you change, like, certain characters a little bit. I don't mind if you take chances. Like, you kill off Aunt May, and hopefully all of you have seen Spider-Man No Way Home, because that's a huge spoiler.
Too late now. Too late now.
But, and that's sort of the point. Like, I don't mind things like that because it helps the character grow. Like, you establish the character, you've done things with the character. I don't like it when you show like Luke trying to kill his nephew, because as an uncle, I wouldn't kill my friggin' nephew, no matter what he was doing, or if he's like a drug dealer. Yeah, I'm gonna knock his ass out and like grab him by the hair and fucking I'm not gonna try to shoot him and kill him. My sister would kill my ass. That's what I don't understand. Like that, and we're talking about J.J. Abrams, but you know what? Kathleen Kennedy's part of that too.
But notice, let me get into that, because what she said in the article about that, about noticing that. I guess now she learned it. Now she learned it. Man, I don't know how to talk today, but now she understands that that the main story of Star Wars needs definitive commitment behind that director.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
But she said that in the article, and it's because she said you can't have somebody on the main story where you have different directors coming up with their different visions, which basically happened on this on the sequel trilogy. You had two different directors, but you had one that sat there and kind of opened up the door. The other one went totally nuts. And then you had the other one that just went, okay, well, I'm gonna just do my own thing. And he went, the first one came back, and he just kind of got what you got. And it does the story. If you look at all three, other than the fact that they're all three, the stories and the characters—that's the main thing I'm gonna say. The characters don't connect all the way through.
They don't make sense. And I mean, I've seen. And that's a problem with the sequel, where I don't know what to call them.
Sequel trilogy, you can say it.
The Star Wars trilogy. They were poorly executed. I mean, it was sort of like what you were saying before. And again, this is Kathleen Kennedy and bad reboot, like getting together and saying, "Hey, let's do a shot-for-shot remake of New Hope. We'll recast all the main characters as these other people. We'll add more characters so no one knows what the hell is going on, and we'll go through that. We'll add elements, instead of like the Death Planet, we'll have, the Death Star will have a Death Planet that travels around and like shoots things. It's just sort of like, what? You can't. Why? And then you kill Han Solo for
dramatic effect.
Because it's his son, and then Luke's missing. And he tried to kill the son. Well, that was in the first one. The second one, you see Luke on a planet, and he's a bitter old man, and it's just like
whiny. He was a whiny, bitter old man.
And it's just like this doesn't match the character. Like you have
exactly.
And that's why we're being harsh on Kathleen Kennedy, because that article shows to me she doesn't have a clue, because it's like she's like taking a shot in the dark, and she just killed a bald eagle, but she definitely didn't get the reason why. I mean, I do think it's damage control. I think Obi-Wan is going to be atrocious. I feel bad for Hayden Christensen, because I do think he's a good actor. I do think he kind of got people they had a love-hate relationship or for him in the prequels, but I mean, I thought he did a good job in the prequels. I thought but I can't watch the entire thing. I mean, my instincts say, based on that this article comes out so close to when Obi-Wan comes out, I think she's hedging her bets like a politician, and she knows the fan base is already pissed with her.
Well, that's what stock market does. Before earnings come out, they come out and they do a little talk, and if they know earnings are going to be bad, they come out and kind of smudge it a little bit, just because, hey.
I mean, I know in the show I've been saying I'm going to cancel Disney Plus, and I really want to cancel Disney Plus because I'm tired of watching this. And I know, Bill and Nas have said that we're going to watch
Raw.
Yeah, whatever. have said that we're going to watch this so you don't have to, but I don't want to waste my time watching this crap anymore. It's not. All it is infuriating, and it's just all I am doing is encouraging them to come out with the next what's Ahsoka going to be like? It's going to who are they going to search for Ezra? What point does that? How's there? I mean,
I don't know. I'm nervous about it, but I mean, I love the character of Ahsoka. I like
Ahsoka, but I don't like the direction of Star Wars, and I don't have confidence in any direction of the Star Wars. I know people are well, we like Favreau and I like Filoni. I'm yeah, but I didn't like Boba Fett. Like Boba Fett, I thought was an opportunity. You could have done like Sopranos in Star Wars, and you could have done it in a cool way that was original. But well, let's go to Tatooine. Oh, great! My favorite friggin' planet again. Why is this planet the center of everything? Like, why do we keep going back to this planet? Like, what? I think that's something Star Wars needs to start answering that. Like, what is the importance of Tatooine? Like, it's a
That's a
desert
good
planet.
question.
Like, why do we keep going back to this planet? Like, well, I mean, okay, so Justice League, like in the Snyder Cut, it was revealed that the anti-life equation was Earth. Sorry if I spoiled that for everyone, but if you want to watch it for 5 hours, you can thank
Yeah,
me
cool.
later. But what is the importance of Tatooine that people keep coming back to it? Like every film is on the desert planet. Like, so are these like all the planets? Like every planet we go to is like Tatooine.
Yeah,
Like
because Jakku looks just like Tatooine.
so,
It's like okay,
and that's sort of the thing. Like I think Kathleen Kennedy is like saying this so she can keep her job, but I don't think they're going to fire her. Like, there's no way they're going to fire her. I don't think the people that are in charge of the Marvel universe, of Star Wars universe, I would say of Indiana Jones, of like all the properties that they have now from Lucasfilm, I don't think they care. I don't think they care. I think Marvel, Disney doesn't care because they're going to bleed these people. They're going to bleed each property dry. Like Marvel, they're definitely going to bleed it dry. They're going to blame it on comic book fatigue or comic or superhero fatigue. Star Wars, they've already blamed it on Star Wars fatigue because that was, remember when they come out with like, they would come out with like the Skywalker or whatever, we're gonna come with an we're gonna have like a main movie thing, and then we're gonna have like off shot movie things like
mm-hmm.
Rogue One. When we do that every other year, and they stopped that because Solo was a bomb. But they don't look at why was it a bomb. They try to blame the actors, but it's not about recasting. It's about your scripts. It's about when you have a dumbass who writes, Batman vs Superman, write your Last Jedi script. His main thing was Martha. Okay, well, you don't understand the characters. You just know like both of their mothers was named Martha, and that's how you're
Mm-hmm.
trying. You're not like showing like the character's intelligence. You're not showing anything else, and yeah, bite me. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm picking on Snyder. And I love, and let me be clear, I love Snyder. I think 300 is one of my favorite movies. Like, I do love Sucker Punch, and I know a lot of people don't because it was just a weird friggin' movie. But it was a cool movie. Like, he's great with visuals. I like
yeah.
his zombie movies. I, however, hate his DC movies. With the exception of maybe Man of Steel because I thought it was cool. Like, it had cool things in it. It had a good story. It was just after that it completely jumped off a cliff and went careening in. I mean, those movies did have good parts to it, but for 5 hours for each one of them, yeah, they're Fs. But I mean, what? Okay, so what is the solution? I mean, I've given you a solution, which I don't think is realistic. I don't think people are going to stop like paying for merchandise. I don't think people are going to stop going to the movies because I think once you see Star Wars, it's going to make $400 million, and then people are going to be like, "Wow, that sucked," and we're not going back. I know I'm doing my impression of Jay Sherman, but whatever. Tad will give it an F, and everyone will be like, "You're just a mean, like grumpy old man," and yeah, that's fine. I am, gray, sort of. But what's the solution to it? I mean, we're not going to be like in the studio. The only way to truly hurt these people is money. And the only way we control money, don't go to Disney Park. Don't buy Disney products. And yeah, I'm picking on Disney right now. But Disney
owns it.
Disney owns Marvel and Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
And those are the two biggest things. And they're pretty much, well, they're trying to kill both franchises. It feels like. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't. If every one of these franchises is good, but they're not hiring talented people. It looks like hiring like one or two writers, and then and I mean, I've heard different things about Moon Knight. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. Most of the comic book fans I've talked to have hated it. Most of the people that are just regular fans, they liked it because it showed like multiple personality disorder and all that. But when I explained to them the comic book thing, they're like, you know what? That's sort of a lot cooler than what we saw on the TV show. I'm like, I know, right?
Go figure.
Well, I mean, I kind of explained. I'm like, did you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer? And like everyone's like, oh yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is cool. I'm like, Moon Knight was sort of, he was like the first Scooby Goo gang thing, but like technically there's five of them, but there's really three physical people, and then there's one of them has like the five personalities, and that's sort of the thing. It's just sort of like, but you want to go into like his mind and I think that's sort of, I blame Tim Burton for that because he decided to I want to examine Batman's like psychology, and like it's like, okay, it's sort of interesting, but you're missing the point of the character. Like he does something because he doesn't want it to happen to anyone else. Yes, he's dark and brooding and no one really likes him. But he's doing it for a reason, and he's really, really driven to do that. But I mean, I would still say most of the Batman movies I've seen, I don't like the Batmans I've seen. Like I would say the most recent one, that's probably, I like that one the best because it went in a different direction. Like it was sort of like a psychological thriller, and it was sort of like, all right, I'm digging this. Long ass movie, but I'm digging it. We all had our little problems with it, but to me, it was a really good Batman movie because that's what I'm expecting, and I'm like, all right, let's go. For a Batman movie, I'm expecting either show me like the mind stuff or show me like his physical skills. Like to me, seeing him fight against Deathstroke, oh god, that would be awesome. I that fight alone, I mean, they that would be the best fight. My expectation would that be the best fight to ever be filmed on screen. Like just because they're like two of the best fighters in the DC universe, that would be amazing. And you could do it like Deathstroke kicks his butt in the first one, and I know he's not truly a Batman villain, but I mean, so cool. But they won't do it. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's sort of like, well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on. Like, you know that saying. And like, I feel like we've gotten to the point where Hollywood has fooled us so many times. It's just sort of like, well, how do we make Hollywood pay? What can be the solution? So, my solution is don't go to these. I mean, I would say don't go to the movies. I mean, my fellow compatriots would disagree because we're supposed to see this and suffer for you, but I don't really want to suffer for anyone. I mean, I'm looking at who's right. So one of the things I'm doing now is I'm starting to like research like who are the people that are writing, who are the people that are producing. I'm trying to look at that, and I know it's kind of like the Russo test. Like the Russos were responsible for some pretty decent shows. Like Community was a good show. Arrested Development, I always enjoyed Arrested Development. I'm like, so you have some comedy guys doing action movie, like, but they were working with an ensemble cast. The Avengers is sort of an ensemble piece. Okay, so, but they have experience with that, so it could be good. When I look at the writers for like WandaVision and Loki and like whatever the last one was, Moon Knight, their writing credits were not very good, and that's the other thing. They're redoing Daredevil, and the writers for Daredevil are, oof. I don't even know what the writers from there where they're coming from. Is that's sort of disappointing, and I mean the people who are part of Daredevil, the Netflix series, which I like the Netflix series.
I like the Netflix series.
I thought Netflix series was Daredevil was the best of the bunch, but um, like that hall scene fight was, I mean, that was the best fight I've ever seen filmed on TV. I would say theater too. Like it was just such a cool scene. Um, but you have I forget what they wrote, like Covert Action, which I've never heard of, in some other show which was on like 2 years. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, Covert Affairs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what either of those shows are. I was trying to find Covert
Well,
Affairs.
Covert Affairs was a USA show. The girls, the stars in it is Piper Perabo. Yeah, and she plays a character called Annie Walker,
Yeah,
where she works for this I think it's the CIA.
so
It started out pretty decent. It was a pretty decent show. It didn't last too long. Again, it's that same thing to me that it started out okay, and eventually it just kind of fizzled out. Because you remember, at one time USA had a list of shows,
yeah, they had like
along with
Burn
Suits.
Notice. They had like all that.
They had a list of shows, and that like I said, that was just one of the lists that they had at one point.
So looking at these guys, I think one of their credits was Deck the Hall. I'll just pause there because I'm trying to think of what to say that isn't negative, so I'm not called like a negative Nancy by anyone. That makes it really hard to want to even watch a Daredevil show, and I love Daredevil. Like I would say my favorite heroes are like Batman, Wolverine, Deadpool, Daredevil, Moon Knight. So far, one of those five has been pretty much. I don't know if I said Wolverine, but yeah. So it
they destroyed Wolverine. Even though I'd kind of like Logan, but
Logan, I sort of like.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have. So I have an idea for casting choice, but I'm trying to think of where to put him. I'm thinking either Wolverine, and I'll explain why. Scott Eastwood. He's been in the things he's been in. I saw him. I think it's some. He was in. The reason I'm saying Scott Eastwood is because he was in like a Jason Statham movie. He played the main villain, and I think that's when I thought, damn, he might be a good Wolverine. And I say because when I read the Frank Miller's like limited series with like back, I think in the 80s or it was around the 80s, I always envisioned like, because Wolverine's like your lone wolf type of character.
Yeah.
And I would say he might be who's better to play like a lone wolf character than Pale Rider himself? Like that would be like Wolverine's not supposed to have like. I mean, I know people want him to have a Canadian accent, but what's a Canadian accent? And I like getting someone who's like the best possible person. And Scott Eastwood, I mean, I know he's in like some of the Fast and Furious movies, and I know he's been in like Suicide Squad, and I don't know if he's ready. But I like to point out, Hugh Jackman, when he first appeared, no one knew who the hell he was.
Yeah.
Scott Eastwood sort of has, but he has that look that his dad had, and I kind of like that. What was that movie? There's like a Jason Statham movie where he plays like as like an armored truck car delivery guy, and he's trying to figure out who killed his son. And I probably just ruined the movie. It wasn't a very good movie. But I would say Scott Eastwood and Jason Statham were pretty damn cool in it because it was fun to watch them play. And I would say Scott Eastwood sort of, but I don't know. But again, yeah. So that's Scott Eastwood. So I think he would make a good character in the universe or one of the comic book universes, but I don't know which one. I mean, he doesn't like. I kind of like his look. Well, I mean, he's a good-looking guy. You know, I'm not afraid to say that. I like, and to me, like Wolverine is always sort of like Clint Eastwood esque in a way because he's always like the lone guy. Like you can imagine Wolverine walking into something and just. And Clint Eastwood did that, and I think Scott Eastwood sort of has that same charisma type thing. Well, we can't have Clint Eastwood play Wolverine because he's like 70, so
112.
so we can't really have him play that. But I just like that was sort of something I was thinking of. Well, when I was going through my Suits marathon, I just thought like you want to get good talent. Well, you want to bring in good talent, and I think Scott Eastwood could be like the next Hugh Jackman, but you need to put him in a role that's good. I don't know if he could play like a Mr. Fantastic type because I don't. He has the more like gruff exterior, like he can like beat the crap out of people, and I think that's sort of what I want.
Wow, it's funny that you just said that. Keep moving.
What do you mean?
No, the last line you just said. He has looked like he can do what?
What did I just say? I don't remember.
You just said he has the look like he can.
He has.
Go ahead, keep going. Beat the crap out of someone. Yes, that's what I said.
No, I know I've said, but I stick to that opinion. So what someone's referring to is I've said no actor can fight. And I'll still stick to that. No actor can fight. All actors are like 5'3".
Well, he's 5'11".
He's 5'11". The reason I'm saying things, I like the way he carries himself like his dad did, like in the films that I've seen him in, with the exception of like the Fast and Furious films, which are pretty much parodies. So I don't really count that. Yeah. I liked him. I think he was one of the good spots in Suicide Squad. I mean, he had maybe like 3 minutes of screen time. I don't know if his character. I think his character does get killed, but pretty much all the characters.
Dude, I'm at the point I don't remember.
I know he's in that film. I know there's some films he's in, but I'm saying like when you're. I mean, in the Jason Statham, and I don't know what the name of it was. Sorry.
Wrath of Man.
Yeah, that was it. Wrath of Man. And I would say he plays like a special forces guy, and they're bank robbers. I don't know if anyone's going to see it, but it's been out for like.
It's on Netflix.
It's on either Netflix or Amazon
or Hulu or something. It's on something. It's on one of the streaming.
It's not like a great movie, but I mean, I like seeing movies like that because I mean, Jason Statham's a good action guy. So, but I can't see him in like a Marvel movie. So, but I can see like who's playing against them and see. And I think Scott Eastwood was playing against them. Well, they're not really on screen together, but they were pretty good. Well, he was pretty good during certain scenes, and it was just like.
Hold on, let me add in real quick. This is on Epix, Amazon Prime, and Paramount Plus. Yeah, so it's a way that you can watch it.
Yeah, so Wrath of Man, not like a great movie, but if you have time, I guess to.
I mean, it
wasn't like
it's a fun flick. It's a fun flick. You can watch it.
It was a popcorn movie, and I thought it was okay. I mean, I don't know what I give it. I don't really care.
It's a sit at home on a Friday night. You just want to watch a flick.
Yeah, just watch it.
Put it on.
But I thought Scott Eastwood did a good job in it. I mean, he doesn't like technically fight with Jason Statham in the movie. But watching his character, like his character is sort of like a wild guy. Sort of like someone else, like Wolverine. So you can kind of see that. But that's sort of why I was thinking that. So I think Scott Eastwood. It'd be interesting if Marvel would get him. And I don't think he'd be like terribly expensive. And I mean, he's had a lot of films under his belt, but he hasn't hit it big, but he is he's famous, but he's not like so famous. And
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting because I mean, eventually they're gonna have to bring in the X-Men. Because the X-Men, I mean, in all honesty, the X-Men is the Marvel universe. I mean, I know people are like, well, the Avengers. Nah, the Avengers are like a third tier team. Like in all
They did.
honesty,
The only reason why they did Avengers is because they didn't have the rights to the X
right,
Men.
right, and
That's
that
the only reason.
or Fantastic Four. So
Yeah.
those are the reasons that, and I mean, that's also the reason they're not doing like the Hulk like standalone movie. Um,
Well, to me, they. I don't know. They. I mean,
Universal still has the Hulk. So Universal,
yeah, but the only Hulk movie that really landed was the one with Ed Norton.
and even
To
that was
me,
sort of like,
I mean,
yeah.
that was a C minus, but and the reason why I think I like it so much is because one, the Eric Bana Hawk. Let me change this. The Eric Bana Hawk was so bad.
Well, that movie was so bad. That movie was so.
That was
Final, I mean, I can vaguely remember the end of that movie, and it was just. I mean, it had some cool things like when he's beating the crap out of the tanks.
oh yeah, we bum rushed one of the. He just ran and just bum rushed it. That was kind of cool. But I mean, the movie itself, it wasn't
Ang Lee
consistent,
was not a good choice for that. I mean,
and
Ang
it
Lee's a
wasn't
good.
Hulk. It wasn't the way the Hulk was. And I think when you
Well,
first
Nick
start,
Nolte and all that. Yeah, it
yeah,
wasn't. They just didn't do a good job with that movie.
and
The second one,
when you first start off with the Edward Norton movie, when he turns into Hulk, finally, when he turns into Hulk in the beginning of the movie, and you hear in the middle of the darkness, you hear "Leave me alone," and then when you said it, it was like, oh man, I was in it. Right, that's all I needed to hear because that to me, that's Hulk. You just want to be left alone. That's really what it is. And people keep making, they keep doing things, and he just goes wreck shop off of it. But the
I mean,
"leave me alone" line was perfect.
yeah, he's a
But
reactionary character, and I mean, Hulk has always been. He's up there. I mean, he's not top, but he's like top. I mean, I
I
definitely have.
mean,
I have a
he's
lot
a
of his
fun,
comics. I have
he's
a
a
lot of
fun
his comics.
character. He's a fun character, but I think it's hard to make a movie for him. You have to put him with something in order to make a movie, or you have to design a movie distinctly for him. Like if they did a World War Hulk movie, I think they could do it. But of course, they're not going to do that.
Well,
But
they could technically do it but they have to introduce
they're
the
not.
Fantastic Four.
They're not going to do
They're
a
not,
World War Hulk movie.
well, because it will just show him. I mean, I don't know if people have read that. It was pretty good. The ending sucked, but pretty much the premise is this is sort of based on the Illuminati sends him to a different planet where he's pretty intelligent. He stays as Hulk the entire time.
Yep.
He's a gladiator. He pretty much he overthrows the current government, beats the daylights out of Silver Surfer and others. Um, he's married to some girl. I forgot what her name is, but Bruce Banner actually is a part of the person. Like they're melded at this, like kind of. But I mean, it's more Hulk than
It's
Bruce
more
Banner.
Hulk than anything.
But he has Bruce Banner's intelligence. Um, but there's a bomb that was on the Quinjet that exiled him, and it had like a gamma bomb, and it kills his family. So the Hulk returns to Earth, and he's pretty pissed. And as we know, the angrier the Hulk gets, the stronger
The
he
stronger
gets.
he gets.
So this Hulk is called World Breaker Hulk, and it's viewed as like the most powerful version of the Hulk. And kind of what he does is with like the other gladiators, he pretty much he beats the crap out of every single hero. So Fantastic Four, yeah, he imprisons them because they have to obedience this. So it's sort of what Thor Ragnarok was based off of.
Yeah, they loosely took stuff from it.
Yeah, they took
very loosely. That's why I said they can't make it now. They can't.
But World War Hulk they could kind of do, but it would be hard because like his allies are now Thor's allies, so that would be a little bit difficult. but he could. I mean, the only reason, but it's a cool series because he goes after the Illuminati and pretty much beats the crap out of every single one of them. The scene with the X-Men is he pretty much, well, I think he throws Wolverine like 500 miles away. Um, Wolverine and the Hulk have a pretty long history. It's
extremely long. Well, that's the introduction of Wolverine.
Correct, and he, I think he knocks like Colossus into orbit. It's pretty.
Yeah, that was Colossus. I think it was Colossus. Right now mentally, I'm mixing up. What was the Spider-Man that knocked somebody in the outer? I think he knocked Hulk in the outer space.
Yeah, Spider-Man does it. Spider-Man does it when he has. I forget. He gets powers like cosmic powers. Yeah. But Hulk is pretty much no one can stop him. And he's very angry at the Illuminati, so he pretty much beats the living crap out of every single one of them, which is sort of great to see because most of those characters, with probably the exception of Namor, I don't really care about.
I love Namor.
I do like some of them, but Mr. Fantastic, and he beats the living daylights out of, Mr. Fantastic has like bruises, but Hulk, when he is punching him, he's like turning into putty. I don't remember what he does to the Thing, but the Thing, they have a rivalry, and I don't remember what he does. I think he breaks the Thing's like hands or something, but it's
pretty. Thing is what, second strongest?
He's up there. I don't know who the physically strongest.
Well, I thought Hulk was the number one.
Hulk is up there. I would say Hulk is probably up there. They had like a character called Sentry that they brought in, and
Sentry's is a whole different.
He's like Superman or something like that. So Marvel's version of Superman, and that's the lame ass ending they came up with. It was he calmed down Bruce Banner, and they were able to. But Bruce is still pretty angry because he blames the Illuminati. So another example of, hey, the Illuminati making a decision that's stupid.
Didn't work.
And that wasn't the only one. The Illuminati also make some, they allowed the secret invasion, which Skrulls infiltrate heroes, and so that's sort of, and I know Marvel's going to do a series on that, and it's just oh god, this is going to be bad. Especially since I've seen the writers already, and it's just oh shoot. But I digress. I guess, hey, I don't think you've ever answered the question. What is your solution to Because I honestly do think Star Wars and Marvel are in trouble. I
honestly don't have a solution, and mainly because as far as the money they make in America, I think it pales in comparison what they can make overseas.
Well, they can make a ton of money in
So I think it would take a massive.
Spider-Man, and I know people want to say Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is not part of the Marvel universe. I know he technically is part of the Marvel universe.
Well, he's not part of the MCU, no. But it's a collaboration.
But he's not owned by Disney.
Yeah.
Sony pretty much, which is why Sony's doing their own thing. I think they're going to keep making. I think they're going to bleed the series dry. And they're going to have to reboot in probably 5-10 years. I don't think they care about the fans, to be honest with you. I think it's definitely. The direction is, well, as Bill say, is very politically correct and politically driven right now, throughout the whole thing, which is annoying. Well, Hollywood's like that right now, so it's. I don't think the solution that I have is even realistic because no one's gonna do it. And based on what you said, overseas is still. They could make $3 here, but they're still going to make $500 million overseas. So it's not it doesn't help. But at the same time, they're gonna. I mean, they the films cost 200 million to make, and you only make 300 when you could have made like $100 billion.
Mm.
Because I mean, these films can break the $1 billion mark pretty easily. I mean, Deadpool, which I mean that made the first one made like 800 million. So they can make close
I
to
mean,
it.
Black Panther was the first to hit $1 billion, and they didn't market it.
Right.
They didn't expect for it to be as big as it became.
And I would say they played it very safe with that film. And
Well,
that's
they would. Well, I will throw the racial aspect in it because I honestly don't think they expected that movie to make the money that it did. And when it did, it shocked them. I really believe it shocked them. Think about it,
that movie was
because I collect the toys too. I collect the action figures and all that type of stuff. There weren't many Black Panther action figures or paraphernalia like that
part of the
out there.
problem. So he's part of the problem. He's buying all the stuff. So he's encouraging them to still throw out this.
But I collect them too. I mean, like I said, I'm a collector. So I mean, like I said, when Black Panther came out, wasn't much out there.
So
It wasn't much at all.
And to me, like Marvel's keeps missing these opportunities. Like Doctor Strange to me, like I said earlier, like I think if they did like a horror comedy, it would have been cool to see like Wanda do stuff like she did. I mean, because Sam Raimi is like he's
the horror guy. Yeah,
and I mean, Evil Dead is sort of like, and that's sort of what I expected, and I think that's why I was surprised by the movie. Going, what the
didn't do it.
And he said, "Well, I had freedom." Like, well, obviously, you didn't have freedom.
You didn't have as much freedom as you thought you did.
Because this is like the same thing as like, well, I mean, it wasn't as bad as Eternals, which is probably why I'm just like, until you take a chance, like, I'm tired of seeing the same thing over and over. I like to be surprised. Like Spider-Man: No Way Home surprised me. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I had a good idea, Garfield, Maguire were going to show up.
You know what would really knocked it out? If they would have put Miles Morales in there.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. Yeah, they're not going to do that yet. Well, they haven't.
I'm just saying that would have been hot. Because you had the line by Jamie Foxx when he made the comment. Because even who was it? Doc Ock made the comment about how Jamie Foxx looked as Electro, and he was like, "Well, did you have like a makeover or something?" Because he didn't look like that. And then later he made the comment. Jamie Foxx made the comment about,
right?
Yeah, I didn't think you was there. I thought you was going to be black.
Well, I mean, that's
like, okay.
One of the things Stan Lee said was he did the full body thing because he wanted everyone to think Spider-Man could be them. And when they introduced Miles Morales like 10 years-ish ago, maybe less, I think it was 10 years ago.
Something like that.
I don't think they could have introduced Miles Morales. I think that's too much. Just because you had because you were going down like it wouldn't make sense to have Miles Morales.
Yeah, it was not a nostalgia thing. I just think it'd been kind of cool.
There were rumors, and I mean, because they did edit out the 3 Spider-Man and like all the posters and things like that you saw, and so people are like, well, why are these people like? So they thought Miles Morales was in it because he can turn invisible. So but it was just sort of like, that's interesting, but I don't think when you have those 3 in there, like you can add someone else in there, because I just think it makes it a busy film, and I think they made the right. I would like to see a Miles Morales like live action. I mean, that was sort of the thing I was hoping for, like in Doctor Strange, and why I think I'm more disappointed in Doctor Strange. Like I thought it would be kind of cool to see, Tom Cruise show up as like Iron Man, and like, because I mean, back in the day, like people
they wanted. That's what they wanted.
Like they had like their wish list for these characters, and it would have been kind of cool to see someone come in like that. And Iron Man, technically, I mean, he is one, because Captain America is not a member of the Illuminati. I'm sorry, he's not. The one time he was part of it, they wiped his mind, because who is part of the Illuminati? Doctor Strange. And he Because Captain America didn't agree what they do because he felt it was dishonest and he didn't think they should like that was the thing. Like he said, you don't do stuff like this. Like, and that's why I don't. Well, I never liked the Illuminati, but it's that's the other character we missed. Like Doctor Strange is part of the Illuminati because he represents the magic part. Because technically, each one of them represents like that peak part of something.
Yeah.
Like Black Bolt is like the
That's
Inhumans.
the
Like
humans. And Professor X is X-Men.
Or he's mutants.
Or
Like
mutants, yeah.
Namor's like Atlantis. Black Panther is like Wakanda. I don't remember the rest. Doctor Strange, we already said magic. Black and yeah. So those are like that's Illuminati represents like certain parts of.
And then you got Reed Richards.
Yeah, and he's like superhero community. And then you have Iron Man. So I thought like they had missed opportunities because they put in like Captain Marvel. I forget what her name is.
Well, she's Captain Marvel. She becomes Monica Rambeau.
But she's not part of the Illuminati.
No, she's not part of the Illuminati. No, but
and
Monica Rambeau becomes Captain Marvel at one point.
Right, she does. But to me, like it felt like it was a missed opportunity because you could see. So that was sort of what I was thinking. Like you could make it like horror comedy type of thing. You could have added these other characters that would have been like cool cameos, like like how in Deadpool 2, like you had Brad Pitt play the Vanisher, which was sort of funny. So you could have had like something that was sort of fun. And I know like I think there's one site that keeps saying, and we could have had this person in it, and we could have had this person in it, and I'm like, you're just clickbaiting at this point, and it's annoying.
Yeah.
And I think this is the writer too, who wrote Loki, and so that was the other thing I was disappointed in. Was I was expecting to see like Kang sort of sneak in somewhere, because that's the thing. Kang is actually a relative of Reed Richards, so
yes,
I thought it would have been interesting to see. I thought they had a really missed opportunity there. Like I know there's different ways you can go through the multiverse. Like you have magic, you can go through the Kang way, you can do. There are different ways to deal with the multiverse. Normally, magic is the way you go through it. You have someone who has powers that can go through it too now, like with America Chavez. Dumbest name ever, by the way, but whatever.
Whatever. Like I said, her character really did not.
She was
bring anything to the story.
Yeah, she was pretty.
She could have been an artifact. It's almost like I always joke about it. Big Bang Theory when Sheldon has what's her name, Amy, watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, and she explains at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones had nothing to do with that story.
Well, and Doctor Strange had nothing to do with this story, and it was just sort of like, what was the point of this? Like, and I think that's what people sort of sometimes think now when they watch these things.
Well, Doctor Strange has something to do with the story. He's the end of the story. But my thing is, America Chavez could have been an artifact that they've been trying to get. That each one of them tried to get so that they can bounce through universes. Honestly, she did not play a major role in the story at all. And she was really an insignificant role as far as the story. Really, seriously.
She had no. Yeah.
She could have been anything.
They missed a lot of opportunities, and the whatever after credit scenes were not great. It was just,
and that's where I thought they was going to bring in Kane.
Well, I thought they could have shown like a different version of Kang, because there are different versions of Kang.
Yeah, he reigns.
And they could have seen, or just have him watch Wanda kill Reed Richards and be like, "You just killed one of my relatives." And I thought that could have been a way you could kind of tied it, like, so you could have could have made Kang and Scarlet Witch like become headbutts. it just felt like a missed opportunity there. Or you could have something like King sees that, and I think that's sort of the thing that I'm kind of hoping. I mean, you have to think the big bad is gonna have. They have to show Marvel has to show the big bad in the next couple of movies. He has to be appearing in one of these movies.
Yeah, that's like I said. I thought that's what they were going to
Guardians.
do, and sum them up in that one. I mean, my whole thing is with Kane. I mean, I thought the whole thing of multiverse was a bad thing. You
Which
know, because
multiverse is not
initially
a bad thing.
they had a singularity, and I thought it was the whole thing of ending Nexus events, so you didn't have a multiverse. But at the end of Loki, now you have a whole bunch of them, and now you have a multiverse. It's everything is just to me is too convenient. It doesn't fully connect. If it,
Well, they should use the
it just
multiverse as a way to recast certain characters, and
true.
that's how if and I don't think the people in charge are that smart at this point in time because I don't you have one person is going through same thing as you have Star Wars, and I think that's a mistake. You should do a team of people and have them agree on ideas and go through there. And I'm not like trying to slam Kevin Feige because I think he did a good job. But in all honesty, like of the 16 movies that came out with Marvel for Phase 1 through 3, how many were really great movies? Like 5 of them were probably fantastic, and the rest of them were they were
They were
good.
fillers. They were
They were
fillers.
fillers, and I mean, you and I will probably, and everyone will probably disagree on like what those 5 are. Um, I mean, my list won't have the same thing your list will have, but I mean that's fine. I guarantee you none of the Snyderverse stuff will be on it, but that's not Marvel. It's, but I think Marvel has the same problem DC has right now is their their last few movies have not been good, and that's what causes fatigue. Is people are like,
Bad
well,
movies.
I'm seeing bad movie after bad movie after bad movie, and you used to give me good movie, good movie, good movie, movie. I mean, looking at Captain Marvel, not a great movie,
That was a
but
filler. That was a
it was
filler movie.
it was a filler movie, but it wasn't Doctor Strange bad. Like it,
No,
and I gotta say, like, I mean, Black Widow now feels like a filler movie now too, and
that
it
was a
wasn't.
contract obligation movie.
I mean, it was a contract obligation movie, but it wasn't like
It was
it was
late. It was late. It was way late. They should have done that movie. They should have did that movie
4 years ago.
three years ago. I
They
mean,
should have done it between. It should have come out between Infinity War and like what
yeah.
else?
Even if you did it after Infinity Wars, it should have came right after Infinity Wars. I mean, it was just
It was. I mean, I agree, and I mean, and they butchered one of my favorite characters in that, so that was awesome.
it just was. It was a bad. Then the writing was bad. It was a bad movie.
But that's the
It
thing.
was not.
Marvel's writing since Endgame has not been good. You
No.
cannot include the Spider-Man movies because they come from a different
Well,
source.
they
And
collabo, but yeah, it's from Sony.
well, again, they collaborate, but they're cherry picking the ideas because Spider-Man can make a. I mean, Spider-Man can definitely hit billion if it's a good movie because
Oh
everyone will
yeah.
go see it. Normally, it has a good message. Spider-Man is like a great hero. And again, no to anyone who watches this, all Spider-Mans will lose to Wanda. And this is one. This is so. And I guess the way to. So I don't remember. I think this was. I was talking to someone like on Instagram, and they're like a comic book. They were obviously very young, and they're like, Tobey Maguire can beat Scarlet Witch. And it was like, not a chance in hell.
Nah,
And they're like,
nah.
he's a great Spider-Man is a tactician. No, he's not. Like Spider-Man normally gets the crap kicked out of him, and he figures out a way. He has heart. I mean,
A lot. Yeah.
he's a lot of heart, but he's very intelligent. A tactician, no.
No.
But I picked to a storyline that was like, I think it was in the 80s. It was with Toulon Goth, I think was the character. He's like a Conan villain, but he's like a wizard. He kills Spider-Man. His power set very similar to Scarlet Witch. Spider-Man dies pretty badly. Because I think the wizard like pretty much sends like 7,000 like needles into Spider-Man. So
Wow. Okay.
in and through Spider-Man. So he dies in like a gruesome manner, and he keeps trying to fight, which was like honorable. I think that storyline like involved the Avengers and other things. I don't know if there are any like trades out there. It's pretty old. And they showed like his death, like it's pretty much all in black, but I mean you see like the needles pretty much go through him. So he kills him. Spider-Man is not good against magic. He's not a tactician. I mean I love Spider-Man, but
No. And he's still one of the top Marvel characters.
But that's the thing. Spider-Man will not kill. Wolverine will kill, so he has somewhat of a shot against Wanda. Not a great one. But he can sneak up on her and snick, and she could die. So he can sneak up on her. Like, it's not like Wanda has, like, hyper senses, so she is, like, you can ambush her. But if she's walking into a situation, she probably has an idea, like, what the hell's going on, because, you know, and it's not like she can't fight because you don't want to know who trained her. Yeah, Captain America, he's pretty good at fighting. So, and it's not like Wanda's like not accustomed fighting with people, and like if she knows about situations too. Like she's been with like Magneto. She's been with like different types of groups, so she's not like she's not stupid. Yeah. Like so, when she went against like the Illuminati in that film, it's just sort of like she took out the most powerful. It had no idea what, and they did that trope of he's our most powerful when she's just not anymore, blows his head up, and then she makes one vanish, and then she breaks Xavier's neck. But I mean that writing wasn't. But Loki wasn't, to me. Loki was okay, but it wasn't a great series. Like it had some cool moments in it, and it was like, yeah, but it felt long and drawn out, and
it took a long time to get to the point. I mean, now the guy that played Kane, loved that actor. He did a great job.
But I mean, that's one scene, and it's just like I waited this long to get here, and now you're.
He Who Remains. Oh man, I thought that was awesome. I thought that. Yeah,
he did. He was great. And I think what they should do is have multiple actors play Kang, and I think that would be fantastic. Like, because you could really mess with people, and that's what I was expecting in like this movie was, you could have had like someone like do a post-credit scene like walking through the Illuminati. You see Reed Richards, whatever.
Oh, strung out, literally. Just so you know, I gotta ruin it. She unravels him, literally.
I didn't really know how to explain it.
She unravels him, like
but, I mean, this
unraveling string.
Yeah. So but I mean, I think it would have been better because I don't even remember. I know one that was like the pizza guy like stopped punching himself, but that was the thing. Like, I mean, it was cool. I like Bruce Campbell.
It was cute. That's what it was. It was cute.
And the other post-credit scenes, like I thought they had an opportunity and they kind of missed it because you could have. Because I think it would be cool if Kang is not the big bad, is like someone else, because everyone expects it to be Kang now. Like, I don't really want it to be Kang because Kang seems like it's an easy cop out because you can always have Kangs.
That's why he's such a good big bad, because there's basically no way to beat him.
I mean, you can beat him, but you're going to beat like some incarnation of him. You're not going to beat, like, because there's always going to be another one. So I mean, I like the fact I still don't know, but it feels like Marvel at this point has no idea what the hell they're doing. But it might be because they don't know which bad they're going to use. But
Mm,
all the bads we're mentioning, they're Fantastic Four bads. So no idea.
true. True.
Because Galactus, that's Fantastic Four. Like, um, I mean, I would love to see a good Doctor Doom. But you can't do Doctor Doom in a non-Fantastic Four movie, and you have to do him right. And they haven't done that. And I have not seen who's right in the Fantastic Four movie. And oh my gosh, I would like to see a good Fantastic Four movie.
Why not come up with a Fantastic Four series?
I think you have to do a movie. And
Really?
I don't want to see an origin story at this point. Like
I
don't.
mean, have we seen the? I mean, have you seen the? I know we're going really long, but this is getting to me. It's interesting. Have you seen the cartoon that they did Fantastic Four? It's on Disney Plus,
The
and it's
anime.
the last one. Yeah, the last one they did, the
The
latest
anime
one
one
they
was
did,
good, but
and I thought that was pretty good.
I think a show. I don't think they can do a show because
Really?
one, they can't do it justice because it'll cost too much.
Well, it'll cost. Yeah, true.
I
I just think the Fantastic Four
I think
is
they
such
keep
a big story that
they
you
keep
can't just slap a 2 hour movie and then think,
well, that's the origin. They keep doing the origin, and I think that's a mistake because you can do 500 different origins, and they keep butchering the origin.
yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, you don't need to do an origin. You can just kind of do like flashbacks real quick
I
to
don't think
get
you
you.
can do flashbacks. I think
You
you
can do
go
something
with
like that.
I think you do the Vox Machina way and just do quick, like, I mean, that's what they did in 30 minutes. Like, that's a cartoon for crying out loud. Um, so, and I mean, I think that's where the frustration comes with these things. Like, you have things that they're showing that it can be done, but they're not doing it, and it's becoming annoying at this point because a cartoon could do it. And I know cartoon and like real
Cartoons have
life,
a little bit more leeway.
but it's still the same thing. Like story wise, like if you can do it in 30 minutes, then a live action thing can definitely do it in 30 minutes. If you're telling me, well, no, we can't because we have like to get filming location. Yeah, shut up. Like just you can do it. Like I
Well,
know
I
you
mean,
can do it.
Deadpool does it in about, what, 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah, so you can definitely do it. Um, Fantastic Four, I would avoid avoid the origin story. Like no one wants to see an origin story. Like we all understand. I think if you introduce the characters, but I think that's where I get afraid. Like I think with Moon Knight, they made a mistake with that because they just started it off. They skipped the origin story, so people were thrown into it. And the thing in the comics, when he's Moon Knight, he knew about all of his personalities. Like it wasn't
Hmm.
like Jake was like, and Jake is a badass, like to be honest with you, because he's dealing with a criminal element. I'm not, and I like kind of how they did the three personalities. It's just they did it in a bad way. But for
It took
Fantastic
too
Four,
long. It took too
and
long,
it
and they
also
had to
wasn't
go.
it wasn't Moon Knight, like because Moon
Yeah,
Knight like
it took too long.
it was in like 3 minutes. But I think you can do other like Fantastic Four. My biggest concern is you're gonna have different. You're gonna have you're not gonna have good writers. You're you have to introduce Doctor Doom, and you have to do him in a good way because Doctor Doom is like he's a combination of like Lex Luthor. He's the best. He's one of the best villains out there.
Yeah,
And if you mess
smart,
him,
strong,
he's smart, strong, and he has his own country, so you can't really mess with him too much.
and he's determined.
And he
He's
hates
going to
Reed.
do. Yeah, he hates Reed Richards, but he's
So
going to do what he needs to do.
so you can have something like that, and you can. I just don't think they can. Uh, uh, but watching what Marvel does, I have a vote of non-confidence. I guess I have been watching Suits too long. it, I don't think Marvel can do it. I think, and they did have an opportunity to like say, hey, this guy's gonna be like Mr. Fantastic, because the fans are excited, but they haven't done that. So I don't think he's their Mr. Fantastic, because wouldn't you say that after seeing, because I mean, people have been excited about that Illuminati scene, even though it was sort of lame, but they have been excited about that. And if that was my Reed Richards, I'd be like, oh, yep, see, that's one. And then you can sort of like, when you have the Comic-Con, you can introduce the rest. But I think it's a lost opportunity. So that's why I don't think he's the Reed Richards, and they're probably gonna have like someone. I don't know. They're gonna have Grant Austin be him, and I mean, I know that's the guy from Flash, but I don't know.
I don't see him as Reed Richards.
No, I don't. And I'm making like I'm making like they're just gonna choose poorly for him. I mean, I know the guy who's in the new Top Gun was in the last Fantastic Four movie, and he's a good actor with an awful script. And I think that was one of the guys. Oh yeah, that was the Moon Knight, or I think that was Moon Knight guy who wrote. I think he wrote that train wreck, Fantastic Four. Well, he's on it, and I guess he's distanced himself because that wasn't his movie. I'm like, well, your name's on it.
Yeah, but I mean, what's his name? John Krasinski. I think he did a good job. I mean, I think he makes a good Reed Richards.
But when you think they would have, don't you think they would have announced that he's it?
I guess it's kind of like when football, when you don't name the guy to be, you don't officially, with ownership like they did with Jalen Hurts. They didn't name him as he's a starting quarterback until like right before the season started, which means they were looking for somebody else. If they could have found somebody else, he probably wouldn't have been it.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't. I just don't. I don't know that they. Call me not very impressed with what Marvel's doing right now. I think they have opportunity, and I mean, I do think I think they can be good with I think Thor's going to be good. I don't know about Black Panther. I think
I'm nervous about Black Panther. I already told you that.
I think Guardians is going to be good. But like all their other stuff that's coming out, no, they're not going to be good. They're going to be train wrecks.
To me, some of that stuff could be TV shows, like the Black Widow. That should have been a show. That shouldn't have been a movie.
Well, I think that's where they're making mistakes, and they're trying. Can you imagine Marvel does like I don't know, a spy thing? I mean, they did that with S.H.I.E.L.D., but if they did like another spy thing, or they do like horror, or like Buffy, like supernatural stuff, which I think Moon Knight was. That's what I was hoping for Moon Knight. Like you could have like Werewolf by Night in it, and like things like that. Introduce like the supernatural, and that would have been cool to see. Because that's what Moon Knight kind of deals with is, and I was kind of hoping to see like other gods, and we sort of saw that.
Not really.
And then we saw the Pacific Rim version of the gods not doing anything, and yeah, that was great. I saw what you were doing too.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was. It was fantastic. It was great. Other than that, I don't have too much else to share.
Yeah, I think we beat this horse pretty bad.
Yeah, we just not beating the horse.
But it's good. Went through everything. I mean, hit the topics real hard.
And next week will be Top Gun reviews.
Yeah,
I'm actually I would say I'm excited about this movie. I've heard good things. All the scenes I've seen remind me of like the original film, and I'm excited to see it. I think it will be good. Tom Cruise is not. He has been putting out pretty good movies the last couple of years. I would say I haven't seen like all of them in the theater, but the ones I have seen, he does not put out bad products because I think he's a little bit retentive about that, and like he wants to make sure it's well written and all that. Everything I've seen about like the the writers, the cast, or not the cast, by the writers, the directors, they're pretty good. So I think I'm following my philosophy of like doing that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll see. I think they have like 96% like on Rotten Tomatoes right now, which might be like fake, but we'll see when people start saying it.
Yeah.
96 is pretty damn good though.
Yeah. To start off.
And I know some people, the people who have seen it, have been very complimentary. They've said that this is the best movie they've seen, and this is probably the reason why Paramount refused to let anyone take it and put it on like Netflix or something like that, because they wanted to keep it, and they've kept it for 2 years now, I think. So to me, that's sort of, you could go with the Morbius curse. I don't think it's going to be that bad.
Oh God, don't go there.
I don't think Tom Cruise would let something like that. I just think he's a very big. I mean, name his last bad movie, really. I mean, his Mission Impossible.
The last Jack Reacher.
Yeah, that was bad, but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. It was okay. It wasn't.
It was worth that. The first Jack Reacher was okay. The last one,
I'm trying to remember which one that. Oh, that was with yeah. It wasn't great.
It wasn't good at all.
But like, I mean,
Oblivion wasn't good.
The majority of his movies that have come out, well, with the people that are attached to this one, have been good. Because I think McCrary's part of this one, and he's done most of the Mission Impossibles, or the recent Mission Impossibles, and I've enjoyed the Mission.
Yeah, it was one of them I didn't like.
The one I didn't like was the one that I think J.J. Abrams did, and I didn't like that one.
That was number 4.
I don't even remember it.
It was 3 or 4. It's one of them he did that I didn't like. Rogue was it Rogue Nation or something like that?
Rogue Nation I liked.
I like that one. I like the one after that one.
The Henry Cavill one I liked. I liked how he loaded the load arm thing. Was cool. I don't remember.
So I think the one that J.J. Abrams did was the one when he
like kidnaps his wife and puts.
It's his wife. It's the wife one. Yeah, I didn't like that one. That's the one I didn't like.
And it was just, and I think J.J. Abrams is overrated, but
but my favorite was the first one. And the first one didn't have a whole lot of action in it. The first one was more dialogue and story.
Yeah, it was
about the knock list.
Yeah, I liked all of them, and they've all been good, and they've been fun to watch, and it's been. But I mean, I think Top Gun. I mean,
we'll see.
It ain't gonna suck worse than Doctor Strange. That's for sure. I kind of want to see like where Maverick is. I want to see like him being Maverick and training. The stuff I've seen with the training stuff has been cool. I think seeing it in IMAX would be awesome.
That's what I'm thinking I'm gonna try to do. See if I can find it in IMAX and head out to that.
Yeah, so I guess that's what I'm looking for, and I guess we'll talk about that next week. And we'll have Big Bill will return, and our chat was a little bit quiet today, but I guess that's fine.
It's all good.
Like, subscribe, comment, and what are your closing comments here?
My closing comments is basically, I don't have too much else to say. I mean, I'm looking forward to checking out Top Gun when that comes out. What else? Then we have, lately I've been watching, I'm catching up on my Chicago Fires and Chicago PD and Chicago Med. I'm kind of catching up because season's over with, so now I can watch them all.
Nice.
But yeah, those are. I don't know why I like cop shows so much. I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah, I've just been watching Suits again.
Know.
So
Suits is awesome.
So maybe I'll be Harvey Specter next week. We won't see.
Oh, yeah, Harvey Specter. Oh man, or Louis Litt.
This is funny. That guy's in. I think I would like to see him as a villain in one of these Marvel or DC movies. I don't know who I would.
I think he could do it because he's cut through. I mean, the only thing is he's kind of sniveling, and then they kind of make him weak.
I would like him as. I think he would be a good Lex Luthor, to be honest with you.
Really, Lex Luthor?
He plays Louis Litt, who is conniving, devious.
But like I said, they flipped this character late, and he really became kind of weak, which I didn't like. But
I mean, his character. I mean, he
grew. That's basically what they did.
Yeah, he grew. I mean, all the characters grew, but I think it would be interesting. I mean, I don't know if Lex Luthor is the one, but he would be interesting as like one of the villains. I don't know. He'd be like a professor or something like that, and I could see him do that. But
put him in Daredevil. There you
go. He could be like one of the rival. He could play Louis Litt.
No, he can be a like a mob boss.
He could do that.
Yeah, that works.
All right. Well, I guess.
But thank you. Like I said, like, subscribe, join, check us out. I mean, this will be posted. Hopefully, this will not be blocked. All my videos get blocked now, but this one shouldn't be blocked. We should be able to share this one, and I'll slice it up. But thank you again for joining. Y'all have a good evening, and hope to see you next week. All right.